They never knew she was a snake until her wedding night. In a small village called Nyeri, there lived a quiet woman named Wambui. She was loved by many, but known by few. Inside her quiet hut, Wambui stared into the fire. Her hands trembled as she held a letter she had never dared to open. That night, something inside her began to change. One chilly morning in Nyeri, Wambui walked silently through the village path, carrying a basket of fresh vegetables. Her long blue kikoi dress brushed the dewy grass with each step. The elders at their doors paused their gossip as she passed, not out of fear, but curiosity. They admired her grace, yet whispered things she never heard. Back in her tiny kitchen, Wambui stirred the ugali slowly, the warm scent of maize filling the air. She moved with calm, practiced hands, like a woman who carried 1,000 secrets but never spoke a word. The morning light touched her face gently, but her eyes remained fixed, as if watching something far away. Mutiso sat outside, sharpening his panga with a steady rhythm. His face was calm, but his thoughts were loud. The village had been quiet, too quiet, and deep in his bones, he felt something was coming, something that would test everything he believed about his wife. That night, Mutiso woke up in terror, his heart pounding like a drum. The dream had returned, clearer, darker. A giant snake had whispered his name. He couldn't understand it, but the fear refused to leave him. At dawn, Wambui stood silently outside their hut. She stared into the forest, her expression unreadable. The rising sun cast a long shadow behind her, twisting unnaturally like a serpent slithering on the ground. Later that day, Mutiso visited the village elder. When he described the dreams and strange things he'd seen, the elder's face darkened. "There are things," he said slowly, "that take human form, but are not human." As Wambui bathed in the river that evening, something strange happened. The water shimmered, and for a brief moment, her reflection betrayed her. Instead of legs, the surface showed the slow curl of a snake's tail. Mutiso had followed her, driven by fear and doubt. Hidden among the bushes, he saw it with his own eyes. Wambui's form shimmered, and for a heartbeat, he saw the truth. She wasn't fully human. Despite the fear, Mutiso said nothing. Days later, the wedding took place. It was quiet, almost secret. As they stood beneath the trees, Mutiso's hands trembled. He wasn't sure if he was marrying the woman he loved, or something else. The wedding feast was quiet, filled with cautious smiles. But then, an accident. A drunken uncle spilled muratina on Wambui's foot. For a fleeting second, her skin shimmered and shifted. A scaly tail revealed itself. She hid it fast, but not before one guest saw it and froze in terror. That night, Mutiso couldn't sleep. He lit a lantern and faced her. "What are you?" he asked, his voice trembling. Wambui didn't answer. Her shadow behind her twisted on the wall, long, coiled, and no longer human.
A memory flooded Wambui's mind. As a child, she had wandered into the sacred forest and never returned the same. There, under the gaze of a serpent-eyed woman, a hand touched her head. A silent pact was made. She wasn't born cursed, but she was chosen. At sunrise, Wambui walked away from the village. Her wedding dress no longer white, only dust and shame. Behind her, the villagers said nothing. They simply watched. They had seen enough to know that she didn't belong here anymore. She walked for hours until the forest swallowed her whole. There, in the cave, few dared to enter. She knelt by a sacred stone, curled like a serpent. Pulsing with power, she closed her eyes. The wind answered. The forest remembered her. time the wind settled, Wambui was no longer there. Only the stone remained a snake. It moved without fear, as if returning home. And just like that, she vanished into the legends of